Hello, hello. We are here with the new Bernie Wheel campaign, Death unto Madness. Death unto Madness. I'm very excited, guys, to play this game. As anyone on this cast knows already, because I have been nonstop talking about it and tweeting about it. And I'm just really excited because the more I thought about the four of you, the more I was so excited because you are an all star cast of Burning Wheel players. All of you had fantastic beliefs. All of you are obviously already very invested in your characters. And so will be a fun ride. It'll be an interesting dive into the world of role playing games. I know some of you have not played a role playing game before, so this will be really fun. Is it only Carly who's played a tabletop role playing game before?
I haven't.
I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
ever. So
yeah. So it's just Carly.
This is certainly a first.
This is a first because Carly has been the
I'm
newbie for a
usually the
long time.
newbie.
Yeah.
I played like an hour of some tabletop game. I don't even remember what it was called.
Mm-hmm.
Just because my cousin was like trying to be nice, so whatever. But, yeah.
Okay. All right. So as you can see, we have our players and their lovely characters listed here on the overlay. But there's a couple of things we need to do before we get started. And I'm trying to figure out what order to do them in. I guess first, we're going to be playing a role-playing game called The Burning Wheel. The Burning Wheel is a fantasy tabletop role-playing game about characters and what they do, right? What they believe in and what they are willing to accomplish to fulfill those beliefs. And so there's a world that we're going to play in. There's characters all around that we're going to interact with, but we'll get to that in time. I think what I want to start out with is a kind of like a intro scene, right? So we're imagining Death Unto Madness as a TV show. So throughout the game, I will be describing things as if they are, right? So I may say something like, we hear cello, emotional cello in the soundtrack, or we see a zoom in on your face in the single tear, those sorts of things, right? Like to frame it as if it's a TV show, because, cinema is a language we understand as modern Americans. It's easy for us to grasp, the sort of storytelling conventions of film, specifically for something like this. And so, right, this would be the first scene of the movie or the TV show of this game. And right, so we see all the company intro logo credits, right? And we get some like dramatic, very low music, right? So just kind of like a low drone in the background. Normally, right, in some of these, you'd get the like the logos have their own music, but it's one of those movies where the music of the movie is playing underneath the logos as they come up. And then we hear the sound of a campfire, and we see an old man, and he's sitting in front of this campfire. It's night, and there's several children, maybe his grandchildren, that he is speaking to in hushed tones, and he says, holding his arms up, he says, "Once upon a time, there were two princesses." And then immediately a couple of the boys just groan, and he chuckles and he says, "Ah, so you've heard this story before. Well, never fear. It's not quite what you think. You see, once upon a time there was a kingdom, a city that were one and the same. Its name was Sinia. And this kingdom, it ruled well and just for some time. But the prophet kings that ruled it eventually fell into debauchery, depravity, and forsook the justice they once sought to uphold. And in this kingdom, there was one king named King Thestios, called by some the Mad Prophet King of Sinia. And he had two beautiful daughters. This is their story, and the story of those who surrounded them. And then we get the, pan up to the stars, and we're like, I guess pan up to the sky, right? So we see in the sky, it's kind of like a weird twilight maybe. We see a giant red sun, like 50 times larger than it would look like our sun looks to us, just encompassing the sky. On one side, but it looks like it's setting. And then on the other side of the sky, we see like a small white star. And then, among the field of space that white star inhabits, we see a few just slightly twinkling stars. And we get the intro music to Death Unto Madness, which I'm in the process of writing, don't worry. And we see, Death Unto Madness come up on the screen. And then, before we get to, the rest of the game, there's a couple of things I want to just say to you guys about the world that we inhabit, right? So I haven't named the world yet. I don't know of a name off the top of my head. I'll figure it out. But this world that Sinia inhabits, the city-state of Sinia, it orbits. It's in a binary star system. So what that means, right? It orbits a red dwarf. So it orbits it at like basically a scale of 4 to 5 million miles, which is way closer than it would, than we are to Earth. And so, right, this sun in the sky is 50 times bigger on this planet. Also, the planet we're on is tidally locked to the sun, which means that one side is always facing the sun, the same side. And because of the atmospheric conditions and the fact that it's a red dwarf, it's definitely tropical and hot, and especially in the equator regions, there's probably deserts. But the planet is habitable, right? It's hot, but it's habitable. And the way this works, right, is there is no nighttime on this planet. There's just you're on the planet that can sustain life, or you're on the side of the planet that can't sustain life. There's a twilight portion in the middle that's a little bit cooler. And that's where lots of civilizations live. But more or less on every part of the day side of the planet, you can live okay. I think maybe the humans that live on this planet probably are slightly different physiologically as well, to just make up for the fact that it's hotter. And as I said, it's a binary star system. So there's another star that orbits around the red dwarf. We have a white dwarf that orbits around the red dwarf. And so the only actual celestial seasonal change that happens on this planet is there's a 4-day cycle. It is both the day and the year of the planet, right? And 2 days of that year day, two 24-hour periods of that year, right? This white dwarf is also in the sky, right? On the other side of the planet, the other 2 days, it's not on that side of the planet, and it's, you can see it from the other side of the planet. So basically, right, just the way that it works out because of the orbits, you can see the white dwarf 2 days out of the 4. And that's the only thing that ever changes about this world, right? There's no real seasonal changes. There's no real whatever. The only other thing that they use to tell time in this world is every approximately a year, maybe 300 days or so, 24-hour periods, it is there is a giant mega volcano in probably the center of the planet, a center of the equator on the day side, that goes off without fail exactly this number of days every year, right? So that's another way they keep their time. But yeah, so this is a weird place, right? A very strange world. Their circadian rhythm is definitely wild. Again, though, I think the humans here are physiologically different than the humans were familiar with, so they're a little bit more able to deal with the weirdness of this planet. Mostly people sleep with shades, that sort of thing. But so that's the planet we live on. I don't think there's a whole lot else that I need to say about, like, I just wanted to make sure you understood that going into this, so we all know the way the world works, and we can speak to it. So giant sun in the sky, so on and so forth. Yeah, I think they do sleep, Aaron. I think they still sleep, but yeah. Aaron Seaver's in chat, so. But yes, I got this idea from a forum, a hard sci-fi forum, where someone was talking about the different ways that you could make a binary star system and have it still be habitable. So I was like, oh, that sounds fun. So I just stole it. But yeah. Let's see. I think the only other thing we need to do, what we usually will do at the beginning of games, is we'll go through each of the characters, and you'll tell me their beliefs, instincts, and traits. And this is not only to just remind ourselves of who they are, but also to remind me as the GM the things that I'm supposed to be challenging you with, right? So my job as the game master is to look at your beliefs, instincts, and traits, and find ways in which I can challenge you to get you in trouble with those things. Basically, make an interesting story with those elements, so that you can get Artha, right? You can get fate points, persona points, deeds points, the reward system of this game, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But right, so this is a reminder for me to be like, oh, you have that belief about the king. Okay, I got to make sure I keep that in mind. But right before we get to that, there is one thing we need to do, and that is cultural traits. So I know of 3 cultures on this planet so far. We have the kind of Greco-Egyptian kind of thing going on with Sinia and its neighbors, right? Sinia, Kairodes. There's a map here, by the way, for those of you on the stream, that I kind of threw together. So Sinia and Kairodes are Kairodes. I don't know how I pronounce that, honestly. Maria, what do you think? How would we pronounce that?
Ooh, where again?
On the map here.
Okay.
Kairodes, Kairodes.
Interesting question. My instinct is to say Kairodes.
Kairodes, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're gonna pronounce it Kairodes, then every ES has to be E's. Like, they all have to be the same.
Got it.
You can't say S in one and E's in the other. They all have to be.
There is, so the other Nima and Setkes, or whatever, how you pronounce that, are technically part of a different culture, so they could be pronounced differently. But yes.
Yeah.
We can normalize Kairodes. What did you say?
Kairodes.
Kairodes. Yeah, we can normalize that as being for this culture. But yeah, so there are 3 cultures that I know of: the Greco-Egyptian thing, and as noted by the cast, they're basically Europeans in look, because that's what you guys all chose, right? And we have again, I don't know the names for these cultures, but we have like a kind of more on the Egyptian side, kind of maybe Nubian, Ethiopian, a little bit, North African maybe. Definitely some Carthage in here, but they're dark-skinned. We have that culture. Malekith, Alpheus's contact in the city, is of that culture. And then we have a third culture, which is this... the actor I chose for this person was from India, like the country of India. And so we know there is a slave race that lives originally somewhere where some of these people have been enslaved and live here, that are also that culture. So... you're muted, chat, if you're trying to say anything. You're just talking.
I was still in your chat. Thank you.
Yeah, it's Peyton. I can make up the traits for the 2 latter cultures, but what I need from you guys is to think, since you are all from this culture, what are 3 traits, and they're basically functions like character traits, so there's just something that's stereotypically true about this culture, that all of you will add to your character sheets as specifically cultural traits. And basically, this is how people would perceive you, specifically from other cultures also, right? What are 3 things that are true about your culture that you come from. And you guys can make this up, right? Because I guess we know that they're kind of Greco-Egyptian-ish, Hellenistic in some ways. We know that this guy has this city-state has a prophet king, very on par with like pharaohs. What do you think?
Maybe that we're like hyper religious.
Yeah, and you could be. Yeah.
Like maybe to a fault or something. Like other people are like, oh, they're just religious people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we could say that maybe the other cultures around this area are more secular than this culture. Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Let's just say religious. I mean, religious can be a good trait. So religious. Maria's like, I already gave my thing. Everybody else has to come up with it now.
You guys can disagree. I really don't care. I'm just trying to save us from awkward silence.
Yeah, and that seems like a good option.
Hey, I just don't know how much I'm supposed to talk because I'll just talk too much.
No, totally fine. Yeah, if any of you had any ideas whatsoever, we know that at least some people are maritime, right? So we could say specifically, right, that they're maritime. Or
so we're specifically talking about Sinia.
Sinia and Kyrides.
Kyrides.
They're the same culture. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That general culture. Though, I mean, honestly, we could do via city-state. That actually makes more sense because if we're kind of looking at this like a kind of Greek thing, right? The people of Athens are very different from the people of Sparta, and they have different reputations.
Right.
So we could go with that. Sure.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, let's go with Sinia then. Yeah, that makes sense.
Religious. Are we an agrarian society? What's our economy like?
Fishing, trade, agriculture. Mostly agriculture, but.
And is it like semi-capitalist or?
Yeah, I don't think it's super centrally planned.
Like they engage in trade. The citizens trade with one another.
Yeah, it's monarchical, right? So like the king technically gets a tribute from everyone, right? Mm-hmm. That's true. You know, it's feudalistic in that sense, but not terribly. I don't think centrally planning is necessarily their thing.
I don't know. I've never done this.
No,
I've never had to think about this.
Yeah, I mean, are they aggressive? Are they? And this is, again, these are stereotypes, right? Mm-hmm. So they're stereotypically religious.
Right.
So the people of Kyrides are like, these religious Sinians. They care too much about the gods. They need to care about, they're too heavily minded to be of any earthly good, right?
See, you brought up Sparta and Athens, and for some reason it makes me think that we would be more like Athens, and then like Kyrides would be more like Sparta, so like they'd be more warlike.
Yeah, I mean, that can be true. I know Thestios himself is more warlike, but that can be an outlier.
So maybe we're the warlike ones.
But that could be an outlier, right?
True. He do be crazy.
Acts, yeah, exactly, right. The way he acts could be antithetical to what normally the Sinia acts like. That's totally fine. What were you saying, Maria?
I just said that was a good word.
What was a good word?
Antithetical.
Oh, antithetical. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what traits for the culture we did for Lavender Shadows. Remember?
We did like. Oh, wow, I don't remember either. I can pop it up, honestly. I think, didn't we do one like downtrodden or traditionalist? Or some of the ones you threw around?
Yeah.
But I mean, so going with what Seth said, I mean, I'm totally fine with saying that Sinia normally is like, an Athenic sort of situation. Obviously, they have a king. They have like a pharaoh king, so it's not a democracy like Athens would be, but it can definitely be known for like its, I don't know, what, peaceful? Or is it just not aggressive.
Intellectual.
Oh yeah,
more
you can do
than-
it. Yeah.
There
Let's say intellectual.
There
That's a
we
good one.
go.
Yeah, because we do know that especially the men spend a lot of time thinking about stuff.
Mhm.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then maybe I have a suggestion. What about competitive then? For a third one.
That makes sense,
right?
especially with the whole falconry
With the
thing
falconry thing,
as a
exactly.
sport. Yeah.
You guys down with those three? Religious, intellectual, and competitive?
Yeah.
Sure. I think we've just described Athens. But yeah, okay, cool. So I'll come up with cultural traits for the other three cultures in the game, right? So we have Coyotes, their city-state. We have the kind of dark-skinned ocean trading culture that Setkis and Nima are founded by. Those other two cities on the map. And then we have the slave race that kind of look like Indians. Still darker skinned, but they're, from somewhere else. Awesome, cool. Okay, so let's do this then. Let's go ahead and just go around and have everybody read off their beliefs, instincts, and traits. Starting with Chad, would you tell us, first just tell us who is Alpheus? You're muted.
I know I sneezed really loudly, so I
Okay.
muted myself.
Okay.
Alpheus is. I have to remember who I am.
You're a politician?
Alpheus, yeah, he's currently a politician. He grew up in the lower class, and his parents were killed as a result of the king neglecting to protect their village.
Yeah.
And Alpheus took over for his dad as the village leader. Is that what it's called? The village representative or something?
I think you were the official life
I don't
path
know,
you took was
correct.
town official.
Town official. When his dad died, and now he's trying to get the king to never do that again.
To never do that again. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Would you read us off your beliefs, instincts, and
Yeah.
traits?
Let me. How do I open that?
Yeah. So just for everybody's reference, if you're confused about the character sheet, you click on your name, obviously,
found
and
it.
then go to the character sheet tab on the top, and then you have other tabs: information, stats and skills, combat, and character burner. Those are all ones you can click on and go to as well. So if you're trying to navigate that, that's how you do that. So information will have all of your beliefs, instincts, and traits.
Sweet. So Alpheus believes that his. So do I say like it's me, or do I say?
Yeah,
as if
just
I'm
read them
talking
off
about
as
him?
is. Yeah.
My people are my highest priority. I will oppose anyone who disgraces us. Basically, I care about my village, and because I feel like we've been mistreated.
Yeah.
I want to stand up for them.
Sure.
The working class needs to be guaranteed protection from outside militaries. I will use my status as a politician to see that this happens. I also believe that the king only cares about himself and his top advisors. I will see that justice is done for what happened to my family.
Yeah. Instincts?
Now, as for my instincts, if those I've lost are mentioned, like my family, then I grow angry.
And the reason I worded that a little bit more broad is just because it can be like if you lose someone else in the future, you can also just add them on, right?
Yeah. So my guy's very emotional. I'm very emotional when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I always treat others of the lower classes with respect, and I always act differential to those in power.
Not because you like them, but because you know that's how you get things done.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. What are your traits? And there are 3 different categories of traits there, so go ahead and read all 3 of those different types. The character traits, die traits, and call-on traits.
Me?
Yep.
Strong-willed, cramped hands, which I don't remember what that means. I worked hard when I was younger.
You were a clerk, so you have cramped hands because you spent a lot of time writing.
Yes. Broken in, pragmatic, driven, persuasion.
Yeah, so basically driven is a call-on trait for persuasion, so you can use it to reroll all failed dice in one test per session. And that's based on a belief, so obviously it's like which one is it tied to, I guess is the question. Honestly, all 3 of your beliefs are what it's tied to. It's just one encompassing, which makes total sense why you have the trait driven, because you're very one track minded with all of this right now. You're just like, I need to get all of this done. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, because my guy's not like married or anything. Like it's just this is all I do.
Yeah, this is all he
all
does.
I'm worried about.
Yeah, cool.
My relationship the special relationship in the game is that I have a buddy who's also in leader. Is he in the King's Court or something?
Yeah, so he's like a politician. I don't know if the King's Court, maybe.
I don't know.
Okay,
if that's
so
a
the
thing.
the thing I know for sure about him is one, he's a merchant, and two, he is kind of like the guy who's in charge of like the sea trade. Like he's probably the guy who's like the people go to talk to about that. He's he's in charge of that aspect of the city.
So he and I are friends. I don't know if we established how we met.
No, we can establish that later. We can just kind of figure that out as we go. Cool. Yeah, and Malekith, the Merchant Prince. Yeah, I just popped him up on the stream for everybody. Who you're played by, Alpheus, in our imaginary TV show?
Andrew Garfield.
Just that man.
It was arbitrary.
I think
it's a good pick though. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And so as we go through this, I'll probably very often refer to all of you as your character names. So feel free, understand that when I say Cyrillus, I'm talking to you, Seth. Cyrillus, what are your how do you pronounce that?
Cyrillus sounds great.
Yeah.
Let's go with that.
Okay. What are your beliefs, instincts, and traits, my friend?
Okay. So, well, let me give a little overview of him.
So who is he? Yep.
Cyrillus he was raised from he was born on a ship, basically, and then he was raised on the ship until I think maybe probably his late teens, mid-teens, late teens. Yeah. And then what I've decided is the shipping industry, something ain't right, so he had to get up out of there. So he has a cousin in the city guard that he was able to use nepotism to get into the city guard. So then from there he has become a sergeant working with the king. And so his beliefs are I recognize the king is not well, he's crazy, but people want to get rid of him and get rid of him in some not good ways. So I don't think he should be killed. Even if the king needs to be replaced, I will defend him because he don't need to die.
Yeah.
And then my second belief is that the sea industry needs more support. So I will attempt to convince the king to provide that support.
Yep.
And then my third belief is that you can't trust politicians. So I'll study them, check on them, do whatever I can, interrogate them to discover what they're really after, their true intentions.
Yeah, and so what's great about a lot of your guys' beliefs is they're great to give us a direction to go with, and then as soon as you, for example, Cyrillus, as soon as you find one particular politician where you're like, I really want to find out what this guy's deal is, then we can rewrite the last part of that to be I want to find out what this guy's true intentions are, and that'll help you get better points faster for the Artha. So, yeah, cool. Perfect.
So I don't think he and I are going to get along.
I don't think so. Yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Okay, so my instincts. If I go to an establishment that serves alcoholic beverages, I will order an alcoholic beverage.
Yep.
If someone I'm with refuses an alcoholic beverage, then I will chide them about it.
Yep.
Be brave.
Some of the people I work with have that instinct.
And if someone other than royal blood works in politics, I don't trust them, so I'll basically question everything they say.
Perfect. So Cyrillus is going to question everything Alpheus says.
Every single thing I say, you're gonna have to. Well, why?
I don't know if it necessarily
maybe it
means
could be a mental
verbally.
question.
Yeah.
Okay. He has to do it. Hold on, wait a minute.
So
you get killed very fast if you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Traits now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my character traits are veneer of obedience, and correct me if I got it wrong, but it's like I've learned how to make people seem like obedient. I may not necessarily be obedient,
exactly.
but I can make people think I am. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was working on the ship for my life, so I'm a drunk, because you know what they be doing on the ships. And then those are my character traits. And I have 2 call-on traits. I have an iron stomach, so I can eat basically anything and be fine. And I have sea legs, which is I'm fine on a ship, right?
Yeah, basically you never get seasick, and then it's a call on for speed while you're on a ship. So.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
Yep.
And then my relationship. Oh, my cousin.
Yeah,
who
so
got me in the
question, and he got you in the Royal Guard too, right? So he got promoted before you, and then got you in the Royal Guard. Because that's what my assumption was. So I built him thinking that. So
that's fine. That's
perfect.
Yeah, sounds great. His name is Hector.
It is. Yeah, it is. Oh, Hector is played by Santiago Cabrera.
Oh,
there he is.
Oh, that's him. Cool. Love that for me. Okay.
Awesome. Cool. Ophelia. Who's Ophelia?
Oh, she's all that in a bag of chips.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, this thing changed. Hold on. So she is, or I am. I don't even know how to talk anymore.
Totally fine.
One of the daughters of the insane king.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So should I just, is that all? And then go to the beliefs?
Yeah,
then?
sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what I know about her.
Mm-hmm.
So my first belief is I believe Avra must be protected. So I'll keep an eye on her with my raven.
Yep.
Which I have.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forgot that I had 4 beliefs, so I don't have a belief 2.
That's okay.
As of yet. My third one is I believe I will kill the king on sight, so I will avoid him at all costs.
Yeah, at first I thought that belief was going to mean I'm going to go kill the king on sight, but I realized after reading it for the second time, I was like, oh, you just think you're going to do it if you go see him, so you're not going to see him.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah, and then my special one is I believe that my gods are not dead, so I will communicate with them.
Yes.
This is neat.
What are your instincts?
My instincts are, first, I will always choose an animal over a human.
Mm-hmm. So I rewrote these just a little bit just to make them more condensed. Yeah.
Yes. Thanks for that. Second one is if my mother is mentioned, I fidget with knives. That's great. It's a great sentence. And then the third is I always collect raven feathers and black orchids. And apparently I get another one, looks like.
No, so that there are some traits that can give you a special instinct, just like some traits that can give you a special belief.
Oh, I was looking. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. Yeah, what are your traits?
Okay, so first is speaker of the secret language.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do that. I'm cruel. Nice. I'm a lunatic. Also nice. And a loner. I'm an all-around great guy. Now. Yeah. And then die traits are faith in dead gods, mark of privilege, and zealot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, zealot is the trait that gives you the extra belief. And then faith in dead gods. I want to talk about this for just a brief moment because there's a trait in the game or an attribute in the game that you can get sometimes from having religious beliefs or religious life paths called faith. And being faithful basically means you can call upon the gods or God or whatever in your game to do miracles. Now, faith in dead gods is like faith in alive gods, but weirder things can happen. So let me just read you off real quick, Maria, what you can do with faith in dead gods. So you could do all the normal things that you would be able to do with what's it called? What am I trying to say? With regular faith. Where in the world is this? Faith in Dead Gods. Am I in the right book? Is it in a different book? Where's Faith in Dead Gods? Can't find it. Oh, wait. Faith. Why is it taking so long? 270. Let's try that. Spheres of the Gods. Here we go. Faith in Dead Gods. Awesome. Perfect. So faith in dead gods is the same as faith, except the power of your dead gods is diminished, and faith in them only grants the faithful miraculous power over herself and other believers. Right? So the character, you can interact, you can basically, most of the powers that you have can only be done on you or other people who believe in the dead gods. Right, so most miracles that you get access to, you can only do it for yourself. You can't like raise someone else from the dead who's not a believer, basically. But there are a couple of extra things that you get for having faith in dead gods. One is, so also limitations on faith in dead gods. You may call for a blessing, curse, aid, boon, guidance, minor miracle, or inspiration. You cannot call for an intercession, miracle, purification, hindrance, or consecration. And there are several different things you can do. Basically, you just tell me what you want to do, and we can figure out what the rules are for that. But the two extra things that I want you to know about, for sure, that you get to do as faith in dead gods person. You can do hypnotism, which can be used on anyone.
Yes.
Right? The faithful may channel the siren call of the dead god through his eyes and speech.
I'm going to abuse this.
Yeah. If successful, the victim hesitates for 2 actions and will obey one simple direct command from the faithful. This requires a few moments of peace alone with the victim. You also can do sublime transformation. The priest of the old ones may assume the form of an animal representative of the physical qualities of their patron. In this form, you retain your thought and philosophy. So you could turn yourself into a raven if you wanted to.
Yes, and that fits so much with my whole, like, I love animals more than human life
exactly.
thing. That's great.
A couple of questions for you. Do you worship one particular dead gods or the dead gods as a pantheon?
I think all of them, but I'll have a favorite, like Odysseus with Sinia.
Sounds good. Do you want to find out what that favorite is right now? Or do you not care?
I don't really care.
Okay.
I mean, we can, but I don't really care.
Right. I'm assuming some sort of animal thing, right? Probably.
Probably.
Let me just real quick look at the ones that I marked that were dead.
Do we have one that's close to Athena? Because she's my favorite.
Let's see. We have there is a dead god that is just of war. That's their thing. The wisdom god is still alive.
That makes sense.
I think maybe. So the 2 ones that jump out to me as maybe being, you know what? I'm gonna kill one of the gods.
Oh.
This god is just too perfect. You have to worship this dead god. The god of mischief and animals.
Oh my god.
That's me in real life.
So I just killed them. I just killed that god. You can now have them as your favorite.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So one other question I have to ask you, Ophelia. Actually 3 questions. And this will determine your starting faith in dead gods stat. So let me find what those questions are. Where is it? look. Faith. Is faith. Oh, is that in the human stuff? Yes, here we go. Answer these questions truthfully, Ophelia. Whom do you trust the most?
Well, I don't really have any people. I guess
The gods?
I'm not sure I'll trust them though.
That's fair.
One of your animals, maybe?
You could also
Yeah, it
answer
would have to be-
yourself.
I was going to, but I'm not sure I'll do that either. I think it would have to be either one of the animals or my wet nurse. Is that still a person
Zoe?
that exists?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, her, because I'm not 100% sure I'll trust Abra like fully.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because she's sick and weak.
Wow.
So I don't know whether I should trust the raven, the snake, or the wet nurse.
Well,
I don't know which
any
is
three of
the-
those options is the answer I needed. So we can move on. One of those three. When in danger, whom do you consult for aid?
Probably the favorite god.
Okay. Ultimately, how can you best serve your allies?
My best for my allies.
What allies?
What allies? Yeah.
How can you best serve
basically-
your raven and your snake?
Yeah, and my half sister. It would be either like by giving them information or like protecting them physically.
Okay, cool. So there's only one correct answer to these questions. The gods.
Oh.
Each correct answer grants +1 to starting faith. So you answered correctly once. And it basically, because it totally makes sense, right? If Ophelia's first answer isn't always the gods, then she doesn't have a highest faith as some other person would, right? So you used to have a starting faith of 4, which is 1 higher than the normal, which is 3. So there you go. The one other thing I wanted to talk to you about Ophelia, there's lots of Ophelia things. So I think this is what we're going to do because it just makes so much sense. There's a magic stat in the game called corruption.
Oh, perfect.
Corruption is an emotional attribute designed to emphasize the effects of magic upon its users in settings where magical lore is unnatural or forbidden, right? So this perfectly makes sense for you. I think you have the corruption stat, and the way this works is you'll get weird traits and continue to get weird traits the higher you increase your corruption. We down with this? You want to see Ophelia's slow descent into corruption and madness?
Oh, 100%.
All right, perfect. All right, so you get +1 to starting corruption if you have the faithful trait, which you do. Have you ever prayed? Yeah. Have you ever prayed alone at night to remote unholy gods to aid you?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Have you ever entered into a pact with a demon?
Again, yes.
No way.
Oh, you're giving him so much material.
Perfect. All right, we're gonna have to talk about that, but
Ophelia. I personally have.
I am
Maria
asking the
has
question.
an Ophelia.
I am asking the questions about Ophelia. So, were you answering the questions for Ophelia?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right, so your starting
Yes,
corruption
I
then
know.
is 3, which means we have to do this real quick. Okay, roll.
Oh, I don't know how.
What is it? Wait. Oh, yeah. Okay. You're going to roll a d6. So the way that you can do this, normally the rolls are going to be done through the little dice icon next to your stats and stuff on the character sheet. But if you ever need to just roll a die separately, what you can do is type in /, so like / space
Like on the chat thing?
in the chat. Yeah.
The bottom, yeah.
/
in Roll20, yeah. So / space R.
Oh.
And then for now, write 1d6. D is in dog, 1d6.
1d6.
And then press enter. Oh, I did that wrong. Sorry. /R space.
Yeah, I was like, what?
Sorry.
What have you done
1d6. Yeah.
Solid.
Okay. 2. So
What a good roll.
adding your corruption stat, that means you get to choose one of these 2 traits, Ophelia. Do you want the trait lame or forked tongue?
Oh, forked tongue. For sure.
And I think forked tongue. I don't know if it's literal. I think it's actually like a good trait. You want a literal.
Why not both?
That's the right answer.
Oh, perfect. Forked tongue is a call on for falsehood. That's so great.
Oh, that's good because I'm good at that, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Do I also have a forked tongue?
It's a call on trait, so I don't think you literally have a forked tongue. I think this is metaphorical. But basically what this means, Ophelia, right, is that because there are some of these that legitimately will give you weird physical traits, right? This one doesn't. This one basically, because of your corruption, you got better at lying.
This is going well for me.
Yeah. The issue is there are 2 tables on this right here, right, on the corruption table. And because you chose on the alternate trait table, the next time you roll, and every time you increase your corruption up to a max of 10, where basically the unholy gods come and claim you, you roll a d6 plus your corruption every time you increase it, and you get a new trait, and it has to be from the one from the basically you because you chose this side of the table this time, you have to choose from the other side of the table next time. And the other side of the table has things like lame, palsy, diseased, blind, maimed, enlarged venom sacs, right? Like weird things like that.
Most of those are snakish. So that works.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. So awesome. That's really cool. So I'm gonna put corruption
Yikes.
on your character sheet. This is starting off so well. Okay.
Are we gonna? Okay.
And is it pronounced Avra?
Yes.
Okay. Avra, who are you?
Avra is the youngest daughter of the king. She is.
Oh, real quick before we continue. Cyrillus, who are you played by in our imaginary TV show? Seth?
Oh, sorry. I'm played by Chris Evans, but like he has a bud cut.
A bud cut.
The buzz cut. And also he's like kind of younger Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Because my character's 24 years old, so.
Mm-hmm. I feel like even with movie magic, we could pull that off right now, right? We can make Chris Evans look younger.
Exactly. We can do whatever we want.
Yeah. Ophelia, who's Ophelia played by?
Carla Delevingne.
Yeah. Yeah, she is. And then who's Avra played by?
She's played by Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman, my childhood crush.
Oh, can we change the picture?
Yeah, sure. Feel free to,
Okay.
yeah, if you
Can
find a
I just
picture.
send it to you on Pinterest?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm gonna do
Okay,
Yeah, so-
perfect. Go.
Avra is the other daughter of the king.
Mhm.
She is younger than Ophelia, and she has a different mother. And my beliefs are, I believe I am in love. I will convince Celadon he can effect good by assuming the throne in marriage to me. I believe my father is ill by someone else's doing. I will investigate his mental decline. I believe I can be an accomplished falconer. I will train with Alikos to impress the noble courts.
Yeah, so you have a giant bird.
Yes. Yes. Instincts. I will excuse myself from the room when in an intense coughing fit. I will always have my falconry gloves on hand, and if someone less fortunate asks for something vital I can bestow, I offer it.
So kind. Carly likes to make really nice characters.
It honestly is my downfall, because then I get stuck having to make hard decisions.
Exactly. What are your traits?
Traits are Your Grace, Boaster. I don't know why that's
Based on falconry.
Oh, okay.
Your falconer life path gave you boaster, because that's what falconers do.
Okay.
So again, you don't have to play to any of these traits.
Yeah.
But
Formalist, and then I have die traits, birdie talk, and mark of privilege.
And birdie talk allows you to talk to your birds in actual language. Yeah. Cool. And in Ophelia, I think the secret language allows you to communicate with your raven and your snake.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking.
I don't think you can talk to all animals, but I think you can talk to those animals, right? Because of this secret language thing.
So can Avra talk to my raven?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So, Ophelia, you've just recently come back to Sinia, right? Now, the first thing we start off with in the game is a scene where basically the king, Thestios, has called together basically a city. Like, everyone's supposed to hear him give some sort of speech, or he's just called the entire city together. And obviously, most of the people can't even hear him or see him, but they're crowded in the streets, for a mile past the palace, and only the important people can actually hear what's going on. But he's basically roused the entire city because he has something important to say, and even though he's mad, people still, still have to listen to him. Would you be part of that crowd, or would you try to not be there?
I would do my best not to.
Yeah, so Ophelia's off somewhere else. Would you send your raven to go, check this out?
Maybe if I cared enough.
It sounds pretty big.
The reason why I would is because anything that has to do with him I don't like to deal with. So the only reason why I would is if I had an inkling that it might have to do with something, or
with Avra?
Is if it had to do, then I would send the raven.
I think it's unclear. You don't know whether or not it would.
Okay. Then I probably would just send the raven anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so I think the first thing we see is we see this crowd, right, starting to form. We see the people just shuffling in the streets. And we are slowly, going through the streets with this camera towards the palace. And then we see alighted on one of the, roofs of these houses. And again, the giant big red angry sun is in the sky. I think we're in a part of the planet where it's not direct front and center. It's sort of more of a twilight. It's like the sun is perpetually setting forever. But we see your raven, right, on one of the roofs. Alighted by this red angry sun, and then we see the raven land there after flying in and hop a little bit, peck at a bug on their roof, and then fly off. And then we follow the raven, and as we see it kind of fluttering above the heads of the downtrodden masses, we see text come up on the screen, and it says, "All goes onward and outward. Nothing collapses. And to die is different from what anyone supposed. And luckier. Walt Whitman." And then Death unto Madness, right? And we see the raven fly over to the palace, and we see this giant palace, right? It's grandiose. It's made with beautiful marble, gold inlays, right? Gold, silver, gems, precious gems, giant tapestries, that's the whole shebang. And we see all of Thestios' ministers and his royal guard arrayed behind him as he stands before the people and basically just going to give this speech. So he's played by Russell Crowe, right? King Thestios is played by Russell Crowe. So we see this grimdark, disgruntled-looking man. His beard is unkempt. He looks like he hasn't shaved in a long time anywhere. And he, groomed himself pretty much at all for at least a month. But he's standing in his armor. I don't think he's taken off this armor for at least a month too. He's just perpetually in it. And he stands before the people and he's just going off on something people don't really even understand what's going on. But the raven, lands on some sort of fountain or statue or something nearby and watches this whole thing. We see Avra standing, near her father, like any good princess. Would you describe Avra to us, Carly?
Well,
Physically?
she looks
Obviously
like
played by Natalie Portman, yeah.
Yeah. I think light brown hair. That makes sense. Probably brown eyes. Kind of tall and slender, and she also looks just very like feeble and kind of weak.
Yeah.
And very pale.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, she like coughs into her arm.
What are you wearing?
Just a very simple, practical dress that she would probably go do falconry in.
Okay. Is your bird with you? Is Alikos there?
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Just sitting right on my shoulder.
How big is Alikos, and what does he look like? Is it a he?
Yes.
Okay.
It's probably like 3 feet tall, like sitting on my shoulder.
Yeah.
And then his wings are like huge.
Yeah.
And he's got like these, so he's like a mostly white bird, very feathery, with a very long, sharp beak, and huge talons. And he's got like plumes of like orangish feathers in like certain patterns on his wings and his face.
Nice. Awesome. And so does it kind of look like a mix of like a tropical parrot and a giant hawk? Something like that? Yeah. Cool. And so we see, I think, a couple other ladies in the gathered nobility, right, also carrying their giant birds on their shoulders with their falconry gloves and stuff, right?
And their birds have different colored plumes
exactly.
of feathers.
Yeah. So we see that. And then we pan over and we see Cyrillus in the crowd of the Royal Guard. We get a close-up on him so we can tell that he's important, even though we don't really know who he is yet in the game. Anything else you want to describe about Cyrillus? Like what his armor looks like, what weapon he's carrying, how he's standing, any of that?
Yeah. So he is standing there. He has his armor on. It is a heavy chainmail.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got his spear.
I'd imagine, right? We're thinking like, Greek hoplite mixed with Roman Praetorian sort of dress. So the chainmail here is probably like a tunic armor, right? So like a skirt of mail and some plate on the chest, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
He's obviously athletic. He's not like.
I mean, he's Chris Evans, so.
He's Chris Evans, so I mean, we know.
Nothing else? Cool. Is he just like, is he standing like obviously grim and just like serious?
He's serious. He's watching everything go down because he knows King Crazy, something could happen. It's a big crowd, so he's very, observant of everything.
Cool. And then we see Alpheus in the crowd somewhere, probably like close enough that you can hear what's going on, but not close enough that you're like up there on the stand with everybody. Because you're a politician, but not a very important one. Where in the crowd, like in this courtyard in the palace, are you standing? What do you look like, and what are you doing? You muted.
Sorry. I said, what am I doing? I asked the question, what am I doing?
You're basically standing there, like the whole city was called to hear this, so you're like required to be here, basically.
I'm just there doing my duty. I'm wearing like not fancy, unfancy. I don't know what the word is for that. Nobleman's clothes, like.
Right. So nothing
like
special.
I have a cheap formal outfit on.
Sure.
and it's kind of like roby. Has it? Yeah, I think I'm wearing a robe.
Sure. What color?
I don't know, dark
Like,
blue.
Okay, yeah. So we're thinking like, officials' robes.
Yes.
Is this standard then for politicians in this society?
As you asked me the color, I was thinking that maybe the color denotes something. The
Yeah,
color of
that's what
your
I'm thinking
robes.
too. So maybe blue is like one of the lowest levels of
Yeah.
politiker.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So we know that the normal politicians in this society, the various officials, and it's kind of feudalistic, right? So you have the guys who are in charge of the towns, the guys who are in charge of the various portions of the city, and then the guys who are in charge of everything. And then, different colors denote them. So we know dark blue denotes one of the lowest ones.
So as I'm there, I'm pretty apathetic. I'm just there because I have to be.
Yeah,
I don't want
sure.
to be there.
Cool. And so King Thestios is going off on something, and then suddenly he just switches gears and he says, like people really didn't understand even what he was talking about before. He was just raving, and then he says, and then the reason that I've called you all here is because this man, and he points directly at like the high priest of the god that like it. The patron god of the city. And real quick, I'm just going to generate a name for him. I haven't done that yet. So this is
it's some heresy.
Yeah, this is the god of rulership, fertility, and war. Right. So he's basically the god of the patriarchy.
Yes.
Right. Like legitimately, he's like being in charge, having lots of kids, and fighting people. Like that's the thing that he's in charge of. And he, or maybe it's not. Maybe that's the patron god of the other kingdom, of the other city state, because we just decided that they're like more thinkers and stuff. I don't know. What do you guys think? Because it doesn't really matter to me. I haven't like planned anything specifically off of that. That was just the god who was the most interesting to me first. What god?
What is the king? Is this guy done something wrong? The priest?
He's about to have done something wrong. Yeah. But this is like, what's the patron god of the city?
Oh, right.
Are we thinking, because the four...
Wouldn't it be some... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say the four like great gods of the setting are the god of sun, agriculture, and the weather, the god of oceans, trade, and messengers, the god of death, and the god of rulership, fertility, and war. Those are like the big four. Right?
I feel like
that's the Zeus,
with
Poseidon,
Seth's
Hades of the setting.
character, the oceans one makes more sense.
God of ocean.
It sounds like we're in that more of a like sea trade setting.
Yeah. Sure. Okay. Oceans, trade, messengers. So that god's name is...
Helios.
Someone help me come up with the name as I'm trying to generate one.
Mahalolel. That's from the Bible.
Yeah, exactly. Let's say... See, how would you pronounce this, Maria? I'm just going to go to you for pronunciations on these because I feel like you'd know. How do you pronounce that?
Want Latin/Greek ones. Hold on.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, my Latin thing is far away. Here, do you want the Latin pronunciation?
Sure.
Okay, hold on.
My dog is like tearing up things in the background.
Oh, no, Tara.
She's not tearing up. She's just like whipping her toy around.
Oh, I see. Yes.
She's whipping the duck around.
Cute.
Why is that not in there? I guess that's not a Latin thing. Just Peiris, probably, or Peiris. That. Yeah.
Let's just make up our own pronunciation and say, but Pyrrhus? Paris?
If you want,
actually, you know what?
Pyrus,
Yeah.
Is that the sound you're going for? Then it's Paearus.
Paearus.
Uh-huh.
Pyrus.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with Pyrus. I'm down with that. So, Pyrus, the god of oceans, trade, and messengers. So, I do definitely think that they have been ignoring the ocean and trade and messengers as of late, right? Because I think the king maybe wants them to worship the rulership fertility war god, right? And so basically, this is what happens, right? He points at this high priest and this man has betrayed the city, has betrayed Sinia and betrayed me. He has been seeking, and people are starting to like freak out, right? And the man himself, he's like this elderly guy, right? He's just like really confused, and he's just like, oh no, because I think he understands what's coming. And Thestios basically says, he has betrayed God. And so this is one of the things that Thestios has been saying as of late. He's been saying like God. He hasn't specified which God he's talking about. He's just saying God all the time, and nobody knows why. He's like, he's betrayed God, and that means he has forfeited his life. And then he just looks back at his royal guard, and he just says, execute him. And so the captain of the royal guard just like gives him a look. His eyes widen, but like he just like points to two of the like royal guard, and he doesn't point to you, Cyrilla, so you don't have to worry about doing this yourself. But two of the royal guard and the captain of the guard just walk over, and the man is just trying to run away, right? But he's elderly, so he can't really get far. And then these men just walk over to him, grab him, and just press him to the ground, and literally just behead him on the spot, and like in front of everyone. And it basically is like the will of the king. Like he says it, these guys are just gonna do it. And so they do that, and the captain of the guard comes back over and just salutes. And it says,
Avra looks down at the ground and is obviously very uncomfortable and distressed.
And so he basically says, like, I have had word that he was planning against me. Me, the voice of God himself. This cannot be tolerated in Sinia. Hear me, people. Betrayal, evil, wickedness, treachery will not be tolerated in my city. Think long and hard about who you serve this day. Those who conspire against him, those who have conspired with him, they will be found out. They will be rooted out and excised. And he just says, long live God and Sinia. And he just walks away.
Also, I take back what I said. She doesn't look visibly upset, but she does slightly look away.
Okay, so pause.
Cool, yeah.
Well, I don't know if we paused the game or whatever.
No, you're good. Yes, that just happened.
So while you're talking or while something's happening, like Carly just was saying what her character is doing.
Feel free to do
is
so,
that
yeah.
normal? Like, is that that's what we're supposed to do?
Yeah, because as long
we don't
as...
say I. We don't say I.
Either one. Honestly, whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to refer to you as the character most of the time.
Okay.
But feel free to just do whatever you're comfortable with, honestly.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Is this the first time the king has done anything like super crazy like this?
Yeah,
that, like,
I think so.
That the normal public would see?
I think so. Yeah, like he's obviously, I mean, he's killed servants and stuff, right? And people who've like been around the palace, you know, but like who cares? Like people kill servants, it's a thing. But this is the first time, like he literally, that was basically like what, like the guy fourth powerful in the whole city.
He just killed him.
And he just literally just like without any say whatsoever, except that just his word, he was betraying me, murder him. And so one, we learned two things, right? Yes, the king is definitely crazy to a murderous extent, and two, the royal guard is still absolutely loyal to him, and probably most of the military too. And I think that's one of the things that's been happening, right? The military has been more and more like into this guy because he's like, he wants to be powerful, and he's been training the military more and like pushing reforms in that way, but not to go protect the small towns. He's looking outward or something. Nobody exactly knows what his plans are. But yeah, so what do you do? Did you have
one more
anything in mind?
question? Yeah, one more question. Is this place? Is there normally like a court, like if you're breaking the law, or is it just they just kill you?
So yes, right. I think historically, Sinia has had a very good legal system. Right, there've been a lot of people who thought for a long time about how justice should go down in this city, and Thestios has just thrown away hundreds of years of legal tradition with that one sentence.
Yeah. So that helps.
And so, in one, like, there's maybe an argument that could be made legally for the fact that he had the right. It's probably obscure enough that he could have maybe found some loophole to say, I can just kill this guy. But it's also very shaky.
But like technically he has the ability to do whatever he wants.
Kinda.
But the precedent is otherwise.
The precedent, yeah. It's basically like, King, you have unlimited power, but also most of us understand you really shouldn't use that unlimited power, and everybody kind of agrees that if you did, it would be really bad, right?
Okay. I got it.
Because again, he's like the representative of the gods for Sinia. But he's supposed to listen to his advisors and not just make random decisions like this. But yeah, so that guy just got killed, and he was like, yeah, the temple, the high priest of Paris. Is that what I said? Pyrrhus. There you go. He was
that's wrong.
The AE makes an I sound.
Yeah, got it. Right, he was the high priest of Pyrrhus for the city. So someone else is gonna have to be the high priest. Nobody knows who that is. There's usually a whole thing that happens, but now it's literally like, I don't know, is the next guy in charge? Nobody knows. So the other priests that were around him at that time were just like looking at each other like, what is going on? I don't know what to do. But the guy just walked away, so everybody just kind of just does their own thing. Like the court just goes crazy and starts talking to each other in muttered whispers.
So as the king was talking, my character, so Alpheus wondered. Alpheus considers how crazy the king is becoming.
Yeah.
And he's worried.
I mean, you came here to like what, entreat with him, and now you're like, I don't know if he's sane enough.
I'm worried, and I'm also surprised at how willing the guards were to kill the priest. That scares me.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I should. Yeah. Cool. So we see this, and then we see the raven, fly away. And honestly, I think the first thing I want to see, like of an actual scene, is the raven goes back to Ophelia. Where is Ophelia? Where is she staying? Does she have property? Like, what do you have even? Yeah, you have a small cottage. Where is your small cottage?
In the heart of the woods, which have to exist.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's probably not in the heart of like these woods on the map here, because that's quite a distance away
from the city.
Yeah,
it's
but
like enough in the woods where you look everywhere and you just see woods.
Yeah, so there's probably woods in these mountains,
or like the base of the hills.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh,
right.
Mountains are neat. I like them.
There's forests and stuff over there. So yeah, you're near one of these mountains in your small cottage. The raven comes back, lands on your windowsill or whatever, and squawks at you. And yeah, like basically regales you with the information of what just happened. And I guess honestly, like, we don't need to play out that whole thing, but has Ophelia actually contacted Avra yet?
Like since I was exiled?
Since maybe not since you were exiled, but since you like came back this time.
Oh yeah, because I came back. Probably not since I came back.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like the first thing we get is, how does Ophelia try to meet with Avra?
Or does she?
Yeah, or do I?
Well, because you wanted to. Are you just gonna literally like try to manipulate everything from behind the scenes? Or are you gonna actually talk to her at any point?
I mean, probably I'll try to keep communication to like a minimum. And I'll probably do that just through Le Raven. Oh, I have names for my pets now, if
Yes.
that's needed.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
Okay, I came up with them because I have a nice list of fancy names. So my snake is Viernen, which is Vernyn, which means aspen tree. Fun
Nice.
fact, because I found him. I came up with a little story. Found him in an aspen or equivalent.
Yeah. Equivalent in this
hence
world.
his name. Yes, and then my raven's name is Scion, so Scion, and that is the word for like a living part of a plant that's not part of the plant, like a bud, is an example of that. The other like definition of it is like a descendant or whatever. So I was like, oh, that works.
Cool. So we see the raven
Yeah.
come back, and then what does your snake look like? We see him, just curled over or something
Yeah.
around
I
your neck or
sent-
whatever.
Yeah, probably. I sent Carly a picture of it, but it's gonna be black also because I'm dark and brooding. So it'll be like really, really dark black and not super shiny, like more of a matte.
Sure.
And then its eyes are gonna be. So I kind of want my eyes and the raven's eyes and the snake's eyes to kind of all be the same. Like, because then it's like, oh, I had these eyes, and then I found a raven, and I was like, oh, it has my eyes, I want it. And the snake had it, and I was like, yeah, we're all friends.
Awesome.
So I kind of want the snake's eyes to be like an icy blue type of
Cool.
thing, like that sort of thing. So then the raven and I would also have those eyes too.
Awesome.
I think.
Yeah. So your raven regales you of this. What is your next move exactly as you begin to unfold your plans?
Oh, this takes thought.
Like, are you going to send your raven to contact Avra? Are you going to just start trying to figure out how to communicate with your dead gods?
I don't think I would do anything about the whole king situation yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd kind of want to just see what happens with who fills in the priest position first, because right now Avra's fine, so I don't really need to get involved.
Yeah,
'cause
you're
that
like, well, okay, she
hurt
didn't
her
get
at all.
murdered. We're fine for now. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the whole new high priest thing doesn't affect her.
Yeah.
So I don't need to be involved with that. So I'll probably stay not in that. So I'll probably just try to talk to the gods some more, because that's my other thing I like to do for fun.
Yeah. So Vernon, flies away from the windowsill onto whatever like actual
Yeah.
perch you have for him, and a feather falls down to the ground onto your floor.
Oh, I grabbed that.
Yeah, exactly.
And
What do you
Scion is
use
the
these for?
raven. Vernon is the snake.
Oh, sorry. Yes, skin. Yeah.
What was your question?
Well, what do you use the raven feathers and the black orchids for? Is it you
I just
literally
like
just collect them for fun?
Yeah, I like
Okay.
them. I have a thing. I need them.
Perfect. Yeah, that's totally fine.
And so yeah, so I'll
I
probably
just kind of assumed because you were like a witch priest that you were going to use them for some sort of nefarious purpose, but maybe not.
Well, I'll probably make a yummy tea with the orchids,
Yeah, now with the raven feathers.
not the raven feathers. The raven feathers will probably just be for fun, and sometimes I'll put them in my hair, probably.
Sure,
but
yeah, of course.
For now, they're just like I put them in vases.
Oh, yeah, I mean, speaking of your hair, what do you look like, Ophelia? Like, does your hair look any different from that picture? Are you blonde or what?
No, I have like dark hair.
Got it. Yeah, that's what I figured.
Everything about me is just darkness.
Yeah, you're a goth.
So I am a goth, so black hair probably are very close to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I know it wouldn't be super curly. It might be kind of wavy instead of
Yeah.
super straight.
Sure.
I kind of feel like that would happen because I feel like if you don't wash your hair for a super long time, you're in the
Mhm.
woods, it'll probably
Yeah.
not be super straight.
Nope.
So that.
Cool. What kind of clothes are you wearing?
I was thinking about this a little bit because we're in kind of a Greek thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's sort of, I don't really know what women would wear in that kind of culture, because I feel like it would be
I
a
don't know.
shorter skirt for mobility.
Yeah.
At least that's what the armor was.
Yeah.
kinda.
So you're basically
So,
wearing like a tunic.
Yeah.
But obviously it's black.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. The main thing is it would just need to have like places where I can put knives and stuff, and then
Oh, sure, yeah.
just so that it's practical, so I can move around and don't get too hot.
Oh, Caleb, also, I was talking to Maria about this earlier, and I think this would apply to her clothing too. I think it should be a thing in this culture that women's clothing actually has like large pockets, because not only are pockets just great and needed, but they also have like falconry gloves that they need pockets for.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll have pockets.
We have a cultural reason why large pockets on
Yes.
women's clothing needs to exist.
Put my steak in my pocket.
I'm so happy for you guys.
So do only the women?
We can only have it in a fantasy world.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and the men just have fake pockets that are like
Yes.
I think that definitely should be a thing, though. Honestly, I think that would be really funny if the men don't actually have like real pockets. It's not like
If
fashionable.
they do it goes up to here.
Exactly. Yeah.
Good.
What were you gonna say, Chad?
I was asking. So the men don't have birds.
No, that is not a masculine thing to do. It's very masculine to think about things and argue about things, but it's not masculine to have falconry. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So, Ophelia, are you basically gonna how are you gonna try to commune? Are you literally just wanna get in contact with them? What is your aim here? Because obviously you've interacted with them at some level. What's the kind of gist of your belief there to communicate with them? Do you want direction on what to do? Do you want more power from them?
So I think I'm probably just really obsessed with that whole realm, I guess.
Yeah.
And the whole dark. Well, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say.
Oh yeah. The secret thing that we were talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I have my reasons.
Feel free to secret message me at any point, guys, if you want secret message things to happen.
I don't know if what you told me was secret, and I don't want to.
I think it should be. Yeah, I don't think that's public knowledge yet. For the campaign or the culture, so let's keep that. Yeah, let's keep that secret.
Okay,
but
I just want to.
Yeah.
So I just want to be able to communicate with the dead gods on a deeper level, so that I can do certain things that have to do with that other thing.
You should message me to make sure we're on the same page with this.
Okay, yeah, here. I don't know how to do that.
I mean, you can just message me on Facebook or something.
Oh, that's smart. I'll do that.
But yeah, so she's doing that. What is, you know what? I'm gonna generate a name for your specific mischief animal god that is your favorite. How would we pronounce that? Nikaia. Nikaya?
No, it wouldn't be I, because that's the AE pronunciation.
Well, I'm thinking Greek pronunciation for this, probably.
Well, there's Nike, so Nikaya.
Well,
it's been a fat minute since Greek.
What wasn't, because isn't it Gaia for the goddess of nature? That's spelled like that.
I think
so.
Mother Earth.
Gaia. I have no
I always
idea.
thought it was Gaia.
I'm just saying stuff.
That's the anglicized pronunciation of it, but I think the original Greek pronunciation of it is Gaia. So let's say maybe.
So it'd probably be Nikea.
Nikea.
Yeah.
There's a guy in the Bible called Gaius or something.
Yeah.
I think the emphasis would be on the first syllable though, because Greek it's Okeanos, so Nikea makes sense.
Nikea, yeah.
Nikea.
Yeah.
Nikea.
Okay, yeah. So Nikea, the goddess of mischief and animals. Obviously, it's got to be a Gaius or a goddess.
Oh yeah, for sure. She my sis.
Nikea. Cool. Yeah. So, what secret things are you thinking, Maria? I'm anxiously waiting
I'm
Your
sorry, I'm trying to
message.
articulate it in a way that's not
No, totally fine.
funky. Um,
Here we go. Here we go. Yeah. Okay. Oh, perfect. Okay. Yeah. I get what you're saying. Sure. Lit,
The real
lit,
mic drop.
lit, lit.
The
Oh,
second test.
nice. Yes.
Do you like the second
Mhm.
one?
Yes.
Is that
Oh, totally. Oh, I mean, definitely. There's at least 3 different ways off the top of my head I can think that you can do that.
yeah? So
Um,
that's my big goal.
Perfect. Okay.
Stressed.
Okay.
So let's see here. Ophelia, what do you want to do? A couple of ways that I can think about doing this. You know what? I think what I want you to do first is to make a Faith in Dead Gods roll. Because I think you're looking for direction. I think you want to know how, right?
Yeah.
You want to know what
exactly.
direction to go in to do this. So let me just double check that stuff. You tell me, Ophelia, how do you pray to these dead gods? What's the actual physical stuff you do?
Okay. So definitely outside. I never pray indoors.
Of course.
And as far as posture goes, it would generally be like head up for sure. This is basically just how I pray in real life.
Okay.
Like head up instead of head bowed.
Yeah.
That's the only. Everything else I'm about to say is not how I pray in real life. Just disclaimer.
Important point.
Yep.
I think if I'm really angsty, I'd probably get on my knees, but not in like the image of like knees together huddled over, but just like you know?
Yeah.
And as far as hands go, I'd probably like at the minimum I'd have my hands open like this, but if I'm really angsty, I'll have them open more.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so this is legitimately just postulating yourself before the gods and praying. Do you pray out loud or in your mind?
It will usually be out loud, or like whispered if I'm not really going for it.
Yeah.
And it'll probably usually be in song.
Oh, okay. So what are we thinking? Like minor keys, major keys, more of a chant than a song?
It'll probably start off as like a chanty thing and then kind of bleed into a song, and probably usually more minor keys unless I'm feeling real good.
Yeah, so it has to do with your mood and maybe what you're asking.
Yeah. If it's like a praise prayer, then probably more major keys, but probably still like the emo major keys.
Sure.
And then
yeah, of course.
like all flats for sure.
Yeah.
And then usually minor keys.
Yeah, so you don't actually have the skill sing. So this isn't like a beautiful performance of singing. This is just you blaying your heart out to the god. You're being emo right now. It's that one gif where that guy is singing. What is it? What song? Crap. I don't even, you know what I'm thinking of, Carly. The one where
No, I don't.
it was for it was Kaladin's one where they did Stormlight characters as vines, and he's screaming at the top of his lungs to this song on the radio, but totally doing it wrong.
Guilty feet have got no rhythm.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, bye.
Hi. It's gonna be something like that, right? Where you're just being emo.
Not that I'll be really bad at singing. I just won't be super great.
Yeah, exactly. But it's like emotional singing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially
Perfect.
when I get really into it. It'll be a build, a crescendo.
Mm-hmm. If you will. So your intent specifically is to ask for guidance from the dead gods to basically find a way to be more in tune with them to give you access to the secret thing?
Yes.
Okay. That is going to be...
I'll have special prayer clothes too, by the way.
Okay, perfect.
This one.
Mm-hmm. Do you have one to share?
I don't know, really. I was just thinking, like, I wouldn't wear my normal clothes. Like, maybe I'll wear white when I pray.
Got it, okay.
Mayhap.
Interesting. So, Ophelia, you're going to make a Faith in Dead Gods roll here. So what you're going to do on your character sheet, where it says attributes there, the Faith in Dead Gods, you're going to click that D6 icon right next to it.
Here, go back.
It should be in your attributes there.
Okay, attributes. That's what I was looking.
Tara.
And then to... Oh, heck. Where is that?
So if you're looking at your character sheet...
So I'm on the attributes and abilities thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, don't click that.
Don't
click that. So click on character sheet on that top tab.
Oh.
And it should be open to stats and skills and attributes in there. You should see Faith in Dead Gods. Yeah. Click on that D6 and it should open up a window with some options. So modifiers, I don't think there's anything really that you can like add to this. There's not really a role you're making. Don't do that.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. I thought that was Maria rolling.
Sorry,
no, you're
that
good.
was an accident.
Totally fine. I just thought Maria was rolling, so I wasn't saying that to be like, absolutely don't do that, chat. But yeah, I don't think there's any modifiers you're having here, so you can just click submit on there.
Okay.
And then Artha, yeah, you don't. So what? Real quick, just to specify, everyone starts off with 1 fate point and 1 persona point. Just as a quick rundown of what that means. Fate points can be used to, after a roll has been made, to what's called open-end sixes, which basically means you get to re-roll any sixes you've rolled in that dice pool again, which could give you more successes. And if you get another 6, you keep rolling. Persona points can be spent, both of these can be spent in different ways than this, but the basic one is persona points can be spent to add a dice to a roll. The other thing they can do is if you have a persona point, you can spend it if you get mortally wounded to not die. You have to have a persona point if you're mortally wounded to not die. Otherwise, you die. So they're really handy to just keep around at least 1 to just, save yourself from imminent death. But they can also be spent 1 for 1 to add dice to a roll. So if you wanted to, Maria, I wouldn't recommend it, but you could technically spend a persona point, you have 1, to add 1 die to your roll. Would you like to do this?
No.
Sounds good. So
really quick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really quick, while I'm thinking about this, I'm going to change the clothes thing so that I normally wear like a dark green, because that makes sense since I'm in the woods and camo. Mm-hmm. And then when I pray, then I'll wear black.
Oh, of course. Yeah, you get more emo.
More emo.
For the prayers. Yeah, of course.
Okay.
All right,
anyway.
So you can click submit on that, on Artha. And then your base obstacle, and what this means, right, this is the difficulty you're rolling against. So you're rolling 4 dice, because it has that 4 in the Faith in Dead Gods there. And your obstacle, unfortunately, for guidance here is a 5. And you're thinking, wait a second, I can't get 5. Because what you're doing, right, is these are D6s you're rolling. And on a 4, 5, or 6 on this D6, it's a success. On a 1, 2, 3, it's a failure. So basically, 50-50 chance, success or failure for each of these die. But the thing is, Faith automatically open ends. So any 6s you roll will automatically re-roll. So it's possible for you to get higher than a 4 on your successes. It's just unlikely. So yeah, you're going to put in for the base obstacle 5 there.
5, got it.
Yep. And then you're going to click submit again. Yep. And there you go. Okay, so you got a challenging. So it didn't automatically re-roll it because I hadn't checked it yet. So you can re-roll that 6 that it rolled. So if you want to do this /R space 1d6 again.
So /R space 26?
1d6.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, 1. Okay, I thought you said 26. I was like, that's different.
1 6-sided die. Okay, so that's another success. So right now you're at a crossroads here. So what you can do, you have 4 successes. You need 5, right, to succeed on this. You can technically you have 1 fate point. You can spend it to reroll 1 of your failed dice. So that 3 that you rolled. And then if you get another success, then you succeed. If you don't spend a fate point, then you just fail. What would you like to do?
I don't know. What's the value of fate points? Like, would that be frivolous or would that be a good move?
So you're gonna hopefully, if you're playing your character like you have put on your sheet, right? And I'm doing my job as a GM, you should get a lot of fate points. So this isn't necessarily frivolous, but in this session you only have one. So for the rest of the game, you're not going to be able to count on fate points for this session. So it's just up to you whether or not this is important enough to you. Is this the most important role of the session for you? I guess is the real question.
Well, I don't know because I don't know where this is going to go, but I
Fair.
know this is an important thing for my character.
Yeah,
because
I feel
it's kinda
like you
my
should.
deal.
You have a pretty good. You have a 50-50 chance,
So,
right, of
I'll
succeeding
probably
now.
just go for it
Yeah, perfect.
because I don't know how to do that though.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you see on your sheet there where it says the fate and then has a little 1 in it in the middle of the sheet.
Are we back on the?
You're right nearby your attributes.
Same page in the section that says Artha.
Same page.
Okay, let's go.
Has
back to
Artha. It has little bubbles.
Heck. Okay, I went to the chat thingy so that I could see what happened. So do I need to go back to my character sheet?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so back to my character sheet and then back to that. Okay.
Yep.
And then
Little bubbles that say fate and persona and deeds.
Oh, yes.
So you're going to just put a 0 in the fate there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go to faith and dead gods where you have that attribute there. And there's another bubble that has an F there. And you can put the 1 there. So when you spend fate, persona, and deeds in something, right, it goes in whatever you spent it on. And if you rack up enough points in any particular thing, that can help you later and you can get cool things from it.
Okay, so I put the 1 there. Do I click enter now? Or do I not?
So do you see little F, D, and P bubbles next to the faith and dead gods?
I typed 1 in the F.
Yeah, and you can just click away and then you're good. And it will update it. Yep. Perfect. Yep. So go ahead and roll another d6 like you just did on the chat. And we'll see if you get a success. Oh, /R.
Oh,
Not R/.
whoop.
I've done that
Still
plenty of times.
Yeah. There you go. Nice. So it's really cool because basically, right, the first roll of the game was a challenging roll, which means you didn't have enough dice to succeed in the first place, but somehow you also still succeeded on it. So what we're going to do, so when it says right below the name of the skill in the chat window, where it says the challenging, whenever you roll, it will either say routine, difficult, or challenging there. And what you're going to do whenever you get one of those, whenever you make a test, you're going to mark the bubbles next to that thing, where it says routine, difficult, and challenge, next to faith and dead gods. You're going to mark one of those bubbles based on what it says in that little chat window.
So I do a little bubble on challenge?
On challenge, yep.
Yep.
And so for you have just marked your challenging stuff. What you need to do is you need to get 4 routines now. For most stuff, you need to get the amount of routines it says, plus the amount of difficult or challenging it says, right? So you've already marked off challenging. You don't need any difficults now. You want routines, which is easy stuff. Okay. So but you can always roll whatever you want, but this is for advancement. Once you get those, your skill advances by 1. So that's to keep track of that. And that's good for you because just to let you know, at the end of when you get to 10 faith and dead gods, you join your strange deities in the void in which they reside.
Interesting.
So that's something that, you can know. If you get faithful enough, you'll just yeet yourself over to where they are. So that's something to keep in mind. So by making faith rolls, right, and stuff, that's that can advance and help you attune to them more and stuff. So you were trying to get guidance on this, right? You want to know, okay, how do I get more in tune with you? Well, one thing you can do, as we have just figured out, is you can just keep praying, right? You can just keep, if you want to, making faith rolls is good for you to get this goal, right? Mm-hmm. Also, the answer you get back, and you never get back a vocal answer from the gods. I feel like most people don't. There are some instances where you do, but especially the dead gods, you never get any like actual physical answer. I don't know. What do you think, Maria? How do they communicate with you?
Through animals for sure. Since my favorite one is
Oh.
the animal. So if I like finish praying and I look up and there's like a certain animal that runs across my vision, I'm like, oh, that was what that
Right.
means.
And you have like weird portents based on that. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I think the thing they're trying to tell you here is, so to get more in touch with them, they say, and I'm going to say what they say to you, and you tell me how they convey this to you in animal speech or in whatever animals happens here. So they want you to go into the city and meet someone. They have someone they want you to meet that will help you with this.
Okay.
So how would they get this across to you with animals?
I don't know enough about animals. Let's see.
And you can just make it up, right? Like
Yeah.
the raven caws 3 times and lifts up its wing.
Yee. Let's see. I think to meet somebody, I see like maybe the thing that just came to mind was a doe with like 2 young fawns that are like running across, and the fawns are like, whoa, and frolicking about.
Sure.
Like, oh,
yeah.
gotta meet somebody.
Yeah, so you see this out your window, right, in the woods. And I'd just like to specify, I think every animal we see, even though we'll describe them as ravens, deer, so on and so forth, I think they're all a little bit different than what we assume, right? Because this is a different planet, this is a different world, different climate. So this is probably more like a okapi than a deer, right? So it has like zebra stripes on its legs. But it's big and has big antlers, I think. Or it would if it wasn't a doe, obviously. But normally the males do. And so it runs through across your path. You see it in your vision, and the fawn is chasing after it. And you know, yes, I need to go into Sinia and meet someone. And it's like in the lower part of the city, right? The slums. There's someone there to meet you. Cool. And that's what you know what to do. And let's do this. Let's go ahead and take our first break there. And then we'll come back and see what everyone else is up to on Death Unto Madness when we return. You know, faith in dead gods will get you places. That's what we've learned so far on Death Unto Madness. All right, stick around. We'll be back with more Death Unto Madness right after this.